I will call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Education, which was duly noticed on June 6, 2025 through posting and notification of the press in accordance with Wisconsin Statute 19.84. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I wish Jim was here. He could have said nice things about me. Yeah. Motion to adopt the June 10th, 2025 Board of Education agenda.
So moved. Second.
We're going to try to electronically vote. 3.2. There we go. And that passes unanimously 8-0. Well, moving on to 3.3, safety message.
I vote for.
Thank you.
My safety message is one that is timely since we are amidst summer and school is out for many children. So I'm assuming if you took a vote, summer would be the favorite time of year for them, and with good reason. So along with some long-awaited days to provide a much anticipated break from school that are probably filled with swimming, cookouts, travel, and outdoor fun, summer can also be dangerous for children. Drowning incidents increase during the summer months, and the hot sun puts kids at risk of sunburn, dehydration, and heat-related illnesses. So I'm going to ask that we watch this clip and talk about some safety summer tips for children. So hopefully that'll give you some good ideas to help protect your children this summer.
Moving on to consider approval of the consent agenda. I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
There is no citizen comments.
So moved.
Motion and a second. And we're going to electronically vote. Okay. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously 8-0. Moving on, recognizing spring athlete state qualifiers.
There you go. My name is Ben McCormick. I'm the Athletic and Activities Director here at Craig High School. Thanks for having us here to recognize our athletes who participated in the 2025 Spring Championship Series. Before I do that, I have two individuals here who earned our WIAA Scholar Athlete Award. The two graduating seniors, one boy, one girl, have been named Janesville Craig High School's 2025 WIAA Scholar Athlete. To qualify for the Scholar Athlete recognition, a nominee must have earned 4 varsity letters the first half of their senior year and must have a cumulative GPA of 3.0 on a 4.0 scale. These guys had no problem doing that. The first person right here to my left is Tyler Hegley. Tyler played baseball for 3 years before making the switch to track and field his senior year Tyler's going to run next year at Olivet Nazarene, just south of Chicago, about 50 miles. And he was also a four-year cross-country letter winner where he advanced to state in 2022 and 2024, and he also was a team captain for us. So that's Tyler Hegley. Congratulations, Tyler. You can stay up here while I talk about Ryan as well. We'll give him a round of applause at the end. And then our second recipient this year is Raya Ariozola. She did tennis and gymnastics. And I didn't mention, Tyler's a 3.976 GPA, so one teacher. Raya was a four-year letter winner in tennis, a state qualifier for 4 years, MVP for 2 years, a sectional runner-up as a senior, and a team captain also her senior year. And in addition, she's a four-time letter winner in gymnastics, academic all-state, freshman through senior year. She qualified for state as a junior and senior, and she's a state medalist as a junior. She's a captain, team MVP as a sophomore and junior, first team all-state beam second as a sophomore, second team all-state all-around as a junior. And then Ms. Hanson wrote me, no, I'm pretty sure she was a conference champion on beams as a sophomore. Would that be accurate?
That sounds about right.
Okay. And then she finished high school with a 3.97 GPA, and she's going to attend Carroll in the fall and play tennis. I asked you that beforehand. I wrote Carroll. Yes, Carthage in the fall, and she's a 3.97. So let's give these guys a round of applause. Thanks, Val. Thanks, guys. You can talk that way. And I'd like to introduce Brandon Miles, our girls track and field coach, who's going to introduce our track and field athletes who advanced to state. Brandon, and you guys come up too.
Hello, everybody. Good to be here again. I had forgotten I told them all to dress up, and then I just wore a state shirt, so I got lucky. Great group of young ladies up here with me today. Not everybody up here, but we'll still give them all a little recognition. So first off, appropriate to recognize senior Chloe Hedman. You want to wave real quick? And Chloe is a unique story. So she had an Achilles injury from the off season, which can be tough to come back from. Phenomenal athlete, qualified for state as a junior in the long jump, has done pretty much every field event except for throws, really good sprinter too, but she couldn't do much. So we kind of got the idea, Coach Murray and her, to try her in high jump because she could jump off the other leg. And so she high jumped for a total of 5 meets. Stoughton, she was then the conference champion, regional champion, tied for sectional champion. And at state, she ended up taking 3rd overall. She cleared as high a height as the top 2, but took 3rd because of some tiebreaker things. So that was pretty remarkable from her. And somebody who's not here today, another senior, Abby Anderson, she's actually in Vietnam right now. She qualified for state individually in 2 events, the 1600, which is roughly the mile, and the 3200, which is roughly the 2 mile. She took 12th in the 3200 and 17th in the 1600. So 2 very good marks for her to end out her career. Members of our 4x800 meter team are here. So we were led off by Zoe Ziegler. And next was Lulu Coleman, who wasn't able to be here. Our 3rd leg was Olivia Schober. Our anchor was Juliana Moran, who wasn't able to be here. Kaylee Conway was our first alternate, and then Addie Fagan was our second alternate. So 4 of those 6 young ladies are back. We ran our best time at the state meet. We're hopeful that we can set a new school record maybe next year and maybe have a chance to medal at the state meet next year. And then the boys sent Henry Lambert for the wheelchair shot put. And Henry threw a personal record 2 different times. I was talking with his parents before the meet, and they just talked about how much he grew in self-confidence and everything over the track season to be able to compete, which was something that was really cool for us to have, as we haven't had a wheelchair athlete in, at least this is the first one in a decade that I've been coaching, so that was pretty neat as well. So if we could give them all a round of applause. Nice job, everybody.
Hi everyone, I'm here to talk about our Janesville Parker athletes. Unfortunately, both of our student athletes aren't here tonight, but I'd still like the opportunity to recognize both. We have the same exact criteria as Craig does, the 3.0, and you have to have at least 4 varsity letters. Our first one happens to also be our Janesville American Legion Award winner. She was a 3-sport athlete who competed in track and field, volleyball, and basketball. And her awards are as follows. So in volleyball, she is a 3-year letter winner. As a sophomore, she earned Most Improved. And as a senior, she earned Most Dedicated Big 8 Honorable Mention and was a team captain. In basketball, she was a 4-year letter winner. She earned Academic All-State Honors as a sophomore, junior, and senior. Was Most Dedicated 2 years in a row and was a captain as a junior and senior. And then in track and field, she was a 4-year letter winner. She earned Most Improved, and she was a team captain. That student is senior Addison Jones. And then for our male recipient, he participated in 3 sports while attending Parker. In football, he was a 4-year participant. He was a 2-year letter winner. He was the WFCA Academic All-State Team. In basketball, he was a 3-year participant, a letter winner in the WBCA Academic All-State Team. And in baseball, he was a 4-year participant. He was a 3-year letter winner, and he was our team captain this year in baseball. I think the last time I looked at his GPA was a 3.9825, something like that. This is senior Nathan Hatch. And then next up, I want to introduce you to Coach Kat Riley and Coach Jason D'Amico, who will talk about our state track athletes.
All right, good evening. My name is Kathleen Riley, Parker physical education teacher and Parker's head girls track and field coach. First of all, coaches and athletes of the Parker track and field team would like to thank the school district for supporting us this season, as well as our time at the state track and field meet. For the girls track team, we have Harper Brandenburg joining us tonight. Harper competed at the WIA state track and field meet this past weekend. I will start off by providing some background information of how successful Harper's track season was this year. She was the only athlete who placed at every meet we competed in, earning a total of 170 points. To give some perspective, the most points you can earn in one event is 10 points. At the conference meet, she placed second in the 400-meter dash, third in the 200-meter dash, and second in the 4x400-meter relay with her teammates Mia Riley, Shaylin Shue, and Micaiah Smith. At the regional meet, she placed first in the 400, third in the 200, and third in the 4x4. At sectionals, she earned her state ticket by placing second in the 400 with a time of 57.96 seconds, where she also broke her own school record that she set her freshman year in 2023. At the state meet, Harper ran prelims Friday with a time of 58.15 seconds and ran finals Saturday, where she earned 6th place with a time of 58.06 seconds. Harper is a perfect example of having grit and determination while being mentally and physically tough. If you do not know, the 400 is 1 lap around the track sprinting. I would like to thank Coach Joe Dye for leading our sprinting events and coaching Harper to the state meet. We are all very proud of Harper and all she has accomplished this season. You can give her a round of applause. I now would like to introduce Coach Jason D'Amico, who will say a few words about Gavin.
Congratulations. All right, I will start by providing some background on Gavin and his success in his track season and in his career at Parker. For those of you who do not know, Gavin is an extremely talented athlete who is unfortunately graduating early and going to play football at Minnesota and leaving me. But in his 3 short years, he's left a lasting impact. He's the school record holder in the discus with a throw of 166.5. His throw at sectionals was to qualify him for state. He was the winner of many invitational and large team meet events. Most impressive in his throwing career, he was the 2-time Big 8 Conference Discus Champion as a sophomore and a junior. He was able to pull that off, and could have been 3, I just got to give you a tough time. At the state meet, Gavin threw a preliminary throw of 166.1 that qualified him for finals. He ended up placing 8th and earned a point for the team at the state track meet. If all seniors were taken out of the running, Gavin would have had the farthest throw in the contest. He's the perfect example of a competitor. When the lights come on during big meets, a lot of people shy away and hide. Gavin always kind of rose to the occasion and competed like a champion. We are very proud of Gavin and all he accomplished in his short career at Parker. Round of applause.
Thank you. We need to get happy here. Get happy here. He's got a little growing to do, so.
All right, outstanding. Let's move on. Provided administration with direction to deposit all unspent dollars from the fiscal year 24-25 to Fund 73 and Fund 46.
Included in your packet is a memo that pretty much outlines the suggested motion. Are there any questions?
There's a motion and a second. Anybody have any questions? We'll electronically vote. All right. Is unanimously 8-0. Thank you very much. Finance, Building, and Grounds Committee report.
I guess it does seem like a month ago we met. Tuesday, May 20th. I guess the main thing that I will cover from that meeting, I say the main thing and it almost sounds like, it's just normal stuff and what we work on, but it really isn't. I mean, as we think about the budgets and working through that, and Allison and Dan did a fantastic job of really connecting the budget with the real work. I mean, because we get caught up in the numbers and we can talk building stuff and all of that, and we forget about what we're really here for, and it's supporting the students in their education, and ultimately, what we see can't come through is the real stuff we do, and that's what excites me and have kept me here. So we talked about that. Little update on what the maintenance projects will be for the 25-26. So if you don't have those in the packet, you can see the last time we had a draft version, and here we have what the final version, unless there is some dollars that are left over and when we can flex a little bit and do some other next level projects. And then the ongoing piece, we can talk budget development process, but until the legislature moves, it's the same old, same old. So, but Dan has done a great job of going through delineating all of the changes that we as a board have acted in. If nothing else changes, we got to find some money. I guess that's the one piece. We got to find out, not a whole lot, but it'll be a little bit of money we have to find. Dan, Mark, and the team has to find. So when I say a little bit, I think at the time we were $750,000 in the hole, which may ultimately mean it may just have to come out of fund balance because of the actions that we've taken, increasing special ed staffing. That's probably the biggest piece of that, which is needed. But it becomes at what cost? And the cost may simply be from our ultimate fund balance. Continue to work on the long-range planning, kind of we look at what's happening now, and a lot of focus on security at Parker and Craig. A lot of efforts going in there. It was interesting sitting through I'll say the big bid package reveals at Cullen, and the level of detail EUA and Cullen go through to make it a smooth process. I went through the walkthrough with Mike Johnson and Dave Leader as they reviewed Parker, and some of the particular questions that the potential bidders had really showed some things that needed to be defined a little bit better. And unfortunately, there was not a whole lot of bidders. But fortunately, the area that we did have more than a bid or two or three was in the electrical. So the total package was somewhere, and I'll round up and say 2.5 million. And the electrical bidders were somewhere in the 1.3 to 1.5 million. So that was the biggest piece. So that was really good to see that. And they were within a few thousands of one another. So that says that the package and what they bid on was pretty connected. So we'll see that in this particular case, Cullen will be leading a lot of the work because there was no other bid. So they'll be going out with the contacts that they have to fill those holes and gaps. Let's see, we'll talk more about facility usage fees at our next meeting. And there's a whole lot of policy review items, and Commissioner Johnson wasn't there. And so from my perspective, if there's a few things that we do as a board, we're a policy-making board. So I think every commissioner should be present as we go through to fully discuss, if need be, the policies to move them on for the rest of us. So we held off on that, and we will come back to that in future meetings. So any questions from anyone? Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. Let's move on to Personnel Policy Curriculum Committee.
Well, that's my turn. Good evening. We started last week's meeting, ours was recently, with a presentation on work-based learning by Chris Menwalt and Aaron O'Leary. We learned that the 9th grade new conferencing format that we learned about the meeting before and we discussed was actually born out of the work-based learning committee that had met in April of 2024. So that was great to hear. There's also been considerable growth in youth apprenticeship participation in our school district over the last few years. For example, there were 19 YA students in the 2020-2021 school year, and then this school year we had 75 students across our district participating. So that's pretty significant growth, which is very exciting. The Craftsman with Character program continues also to be a strong partnership for our students in district. There are 14 slots each semester for this program, with a rotation typically between Craig and Parker for host sites. But also I want to note that charter students are also eligible to participate in that program. Another topic that was discussed was the work-based learning coordinator also helps facilitate junior achievement and the BizTown field trips that our 5th graders have the opportunity to attend. So that was great just to kind of see that overview of the work being done in that field. The next topic we discussed was a presentation by Dr. Allison DeGraff and the Wisconsin Reading Corps program. As a reminder, this is a reading intervention support in our elementary schools that now all of our elementary schools receive support from. This has been a federally funded program through AmeriCorps, and unfortunately funding is in peril currently at the federal level. We have 1 to 2 tutors per building, and that includes both full and part-time workers. So far in our district, 853 students have received tutoring support through this Wisconsin program. And the work being done with the Reading Corps has blended really well with the new Act 20 reading assessments. Reading Corps tutors have been able to work with students who are identified at risk with the Act 20 assessments. We also heard feedback from Wilson Elementary and even saw some nice video messages from several students who have really enjoyed working with the program. That was fun. I think it's good to know that parents do receive feedback for their students who are participating with these reading tutors. The district would like to be able to continue using this program, but obviously funding challenges have arisen. But SDJ is working hard, our administrative team is working hard to determine the next steps to fill any funding gaps as they are presented. As a side note that I will share, have we received our funding from Act 20 yet? No? No. So just as another thing, we're mandated to put Act 20 into place with our assessments, but that funding has yet to come to our district. We're doing a lot of really important work with lack of funding. So hope that comes through soon. Jamie Brown also shared an overview from benefits, just some of the things that we're tying up at the end of the year. I wanted to share that we have 43 total retirements this year, and which is up. These are for certified, I believe, right? Is that what we think? Was that the
28 certified.
20? Okay, so this is 43 total. Thank you for that update. It's up from past years, but certainly not that 100+ number that we were really scared about. So that's good. We wish all of our retirees really well and thank them all for the amazing service that they have provided to our district and community and students. Over 86 enrollees have now moved over to Mercy from what already had for insurance, so that is a big number. Things that we'll be looking into further next year, so that's, things to keep in mind. We have 26 new enrollees in the Family Advantage Health Plan as well. Ms. Brown has also shared that she met with a number of individuals from the Married Employee Group to talk over questions that have surfaced. Again, if you have questions about your benefits or retirement, health insurance, please reach out to the Benefits Department. Jamie Brown really wants to meet with everyone and make sure that any questions are answered and everyone's on the same page. We also had a really informative overview of athletics and activities from Jim McClowry, our district athletic director. We learned about student participation, increased student participation, and just generally increased opportunities across the middle school and high school levels. We learned about the Coach Academy and which is a professional development tool. There's workshops, online courses, 14 online courses and 3 coach workshops. And I believe we're the only school district in the state of Wisconsin that's offering this platform. Is that correct, Mr. McClowry? That's pretty impressive for training and support for our coaches who are very valuable resources for our students in schools and community as well. This year, our high school students at Craig and Parker had about 62 and 61, respectively, % of students engaged in activities in athletics. At Edison, there were 543 athletic slots filled. Franklin had 384 athletic slots filled. And Marshall, I know we have a Marshall representative here. Any guesses on how many Mr. Schmel's athletic slots were filled? You're wrong. Mr. Schmelz has been waiting with bated breath to be included in our commentary, and I had to work you in.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm so glad you're here this evening. 602. You were off, but that's great. Track numbers were down this year, I heard, though. Right? We learned about NIL opportunities, name, image, and likeness that were approved by WIAA very recently in 2025. And so there will be some school responsibilities for this process. Of course, you can learn more about that if you watch our very exciting PPC meeting, which is available through our website. There are also some updates that have happened with summer contact rules, as well as to level the playing field across all school districts and also for the different sport groups. Of course, there's always ongoing maintenance updates that are being targeted. Work is being done to enhance the process and access for our student participation. And there's also a new AD and PE facility master plan that we're working through. We had a bunch of Neola policies that we pushed through, and we voted on those this evening. So hopefully you all looked over those. And I also wanted to say that we welcomed Commissioner Richardson to our PPC meeting this month. So welcome to us, or to the group. And we will not meet in July. So our next meeting is Monday, August 4th at 4:30. And we're aiming for a shorter meeting so that Commissioner Ardrey is not going to be seeing who would look.
Usual. What's some future meetings?
Okay, the Finance, Buildings, and Grounds Committee will meet on Tuesday, June 17th at 3 p.m. at the Educational Services Center, and the Board of Education will meet on Tuesday, July 8th at 6 p.m. at the Educational Services Center.